everyone, welcome to my weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Nerbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Now this week I want to show you one of our online exclusive suites. It is called the Simply Zinnia suite, and there is some beautiful coordinating designer series paper and an embossing folder that go with it. So if you haven't had the pleasure of checking out the online selection, you can go to my website laurennerbonis.stampinup.net and just type in online exclusives in that little search box, and you'll find a whole bunch of things that are not available in any catalog, but there are a lot of selection. So last week we played with the Latte Love Suite, and this week I want to show you a card using Simply Zinnia. So if you would like to follow along with me, I have all the measurements listed in the description for you, and I will also walk you through as we go. Also though, you are more than welcome to recreate this card using anything else you may own. So I'll give you the layout, and perhaps you don't own the zinnia flower yet, but you have something else. You can play with that too, but I do think that this Simply Zinnia set is going to be one that you quickly fall in love with. It's got a great stamp set and some beautiful coordinating dies. These are all the pieces that I've cut out for my flower building, and I will walk you through how to do that. All right, I'm going to move this over and that over here. Hopefully you can still see it. Okay, we need a card base. So I'm using Blackberry Bliss for my card today. It is going to be 4 1/4 by 11. And then we're putting a score mark right in the middle at 5 1/2, which is basically just folding that card in half and giving you a card that opens from the top or from the bottom up. Now on the inside of my card, I decided to get a little fancy this time. So I'm going to start with a piece of lemon lime twist, and that is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. You might as well cut 2 of those because we need one of them for the front of the card as well. So 2 of those exactly the same from the lemon lime twist. If you still have some parakeet party left over, even though that one is retiring and you might not have any left, you could also use that. It works perfectly with this set of designer series papers. I need to move that up a little, don't I? That's why I always just put things down and I don't press hard until I'm happy. Let's try this again. Oh my goodness, not getting straight today. There we go. That's much better. Okay, now I need something to write on, so I've got a piece of basic white. This is going to be 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Always want something easy to write on. I'm gonna grab my garbage can. Bring it closer. There we go. Okay. Now, one thing that I always have left over when I'm prepping for classes and card clubs and everything are little strips of cardstock. And so this little strip, for instance, was from my yellow Daffodil Delight package. And instead of throwing it out, I decided, hey, I could emboss this with the Simply Zinnia embossing folder, and it makes a really pretty decal to go along the bottom of my card. So this little guy for me is about 1/2 inch, and then it's 3 3/4 long. But if you had a scrap that was 3/4 of an inch or even a full inch, it would still look really cute if you just embossed it nicely with something and stuck it onto the bottom of your project. Of course, I can always come back and stamp something in here later, but I like to do that after I've had a chance to decide who the card is for and how much writing space I need in there. Now for the front of the card, I did mention we need a piece of lemon lime twist. So this is another one that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm putting this flat with tape onto my card front. Usually I would pop this layer up, but I'm going to be using a lot of dimensionals when it comes to building the flowers. And so I want to still make sure this will fit in an envelope. That's going to go right on the front here. There we go. Okay, let's try to get you refocusing a little bit, maybe. I don't know. There we go. Okay, next we need a piece of yellow. So this one I am going to emboss using the Simply Zinnia 3D embossing folder. And I chose the Daffodil Delight, I believe. Let's see if I'm... No, yes I did. The Daffodil Delight cardstock for this one. This is going to measure 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And you can decide which side you want. It doesn't really matter. They both look very pretty. One side will just have the flowers coming out at you, and the other side will have them kind of indented. Okay, so next we're going to start building this little panel here. So I'm going to start with a piece of Blackberry Bliss that matches my card base. And this guy is going to be 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we're popping this up on dimensionals. Starting off with the dimensionals now. This little panel is going to have kind of an equal border on the left, top and bottom, and then whatever space is left on the right hand side is just fine. Okay. Now we're going to put a little bit of designer series paper on here because I happen to have it. But let's say you ordered the stamp set and the dies and you decided not to order the designer series paper. An easy way to replicate this piece here, you can see it is a DSP, would be to take the stamp set and a piece of Blackberry or Berry Burst cardstock, and you just take this large background set and stamp in the same color ink. So Berry Burst cardstock with Berry Burst ink, you will get something that looks very similar to this. So that's another way to keep making these if you've run out of all the paper, or if you don't have the paper. But I hope you grab it. I should show it to you quickly. Here's the paper. In here is a card that I made last month, I believe, for my card class. We did a little bit of cutting, fussy cutting with the designer series paper and cut out assortments of flowers. And then we used kind of a similar layout to this one, I guess, with that side panel, but just a very different approach with the celebrate across the middle instead of the large Zinnia flower there. So you can see it's very bright and vibrant. Make sure your flowers are facing the right way. You will be sad if they're upside down. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move my base for a minute because I would like to build my flower. So what I've cut out is that large flower center. There are 2 petal pieces. One of them you can see has a really fat center and one has a little less surface area. So we're going to cut one of each of those. We're cutting a little flower burst and then a bunch of greenery. We've got a stem, a leaf, and a little flower body for the small flower. And then last but not least, so these 3 pieces, I should say, are from the Lemon Lime Twist. This is from Blackberry Bliss. And we've got the Daffodil Delight flower center. So how do you put it together? Let me show you the easy ways so you're not getting super, super inky and super, super sticky. You might get a little bit, but not too much. So we're going to start with our flower. Pick the flower piece that has the most surface area in the center. So that's this guy here. And we're going to pop a dimensional right on the back. Now I found this is very forgiving, so I picked these large kind of like bottom droopy petals to be the bottom of my flower. But then apart from that, I didn't have any rhyme or reason. I just stuck the flower on. So don't stress yourself out and overthink it. It's gonna fit just whatever way it does. All right, then you're gonna take your next flower piece. Same idea. You might end up having to flip it just to have those petals kind of, looking like they're alternating. But at some point, you can just set this down and kind of be happy with where they're resting. Now for the flower's center, you could try and put adhesive on the back of those petals or those flowers, but it will be a little challenging and you won't have fun. So I'm just going to take my glue and put some tiny dots around the inner circle here. You don't want anything in the center because, as you can see here, that center is open. Nothing's going to land there. So you just want a little bit of glue, and you can rest this on top of that glue spot. Okay? Then, since you have the glue handy, we will use it to build this small little flower, putting just a little drop at the very base here. And I'm going to stick the stem right on there and let this dry. Right, like that. Okay, while those two are drying for a second, we're going to bring back our base, get the glue off my table, and I'm going to put some dimensionals just to the right-hand side of my panel. That's going to be where the flower is attaching to, but I don't need them all over the flower because I have already raised the left-hand side here. So all I need is to attach the right-hand side of the flower to these yellow pieces. So you can grab your flower base, pick which side is up, and just center or offset it so it's kind of up in this top right-hand portion. Next, I'm going to add my stem for the main flower here, and I'm not going to add a lot of adhesive. All I'm going to do is take one little glue dot and stick my flower stem on there. That guy just right in the very top. And I'm going to tuck it under the flower. Add a little angle, whatever angle you'd like to have, and stick down. You will have the bottom sticking up, but we're going to put this tag across and that will hold it in place. You really don't need anything else holding it, and then it's not stressing you out. Now we've got our little leaf. So again, we don't need to stress ourselves out and trying to put a dot of glue so it attaches to the stem. We're just going to put one dimensional right at the end of the very tip of your leaf. And then we're going to tuck it just right under that stem. Easy peasy. This guy should be dry, but just be careful with it just in case. I put this on flat, but of course you can pop it up on a dimensional if you prefer. So I'm just going to put a dot of glue on the back of the purple flower. Don't need to worry about attaching everything else because, again, that is more than enough. It will stay and it will be held down by the tag. Okay, so I've got that in place wherever you'd like. And then we're going to work on a little sentiment. So this is, I guess, the only die that's not part of the Simply Zinnia bundle. This is from our Stylish Shapes dies, one of the small little banners. But I did take the sentiment, thank you so much, from our stamp set here, and I've got my Blackberry Bliss ink. Just tapping really gently because that's a nice juicy ink pad. And I'm going to try to get this on without making a mistake. There we go. Okay. So you have a choice here. You can either choose to just put one dimensional under the right-hand side of your tag so that it's in line with the purple base here, Or if you'd like this tag to stick out further, and it will be about as far out as the top of the flower is, what you can do is you can turn this over, and under the word you, you're going to stack 2 dimensionals, one on top of another. And that will equal the same amount of dimensionals that's now on the left-hand side. Okay, so we've got 1 dimensional going on top of this word, and 2 under here. So now it's all nice and popped out. If you have some random gems, you can certainly grab them. This does have gems that come with it. They were just out of stock when I was able to order, so I don't have the coordinating ones, but I just had some little ones from our catalog that I needed to use up, and I figured they're just easy to add. I did 2 on the tag and 1 in the flower center. So exactly like so. And there you go. There is an adorable little card using the Simply Zinnia online exclusive bundle. I'm not sure how long that will stay, but it was just released in March, so I would assume that it will be around for a while. It's a beautiful set for spring. And make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to my channel because I have lots more in store for you, especially with the new catalog coming up. That will start May 1st, and I have lots of videos and a fun launch party on my Facebook page, Lauren Scraplot, on May 1st for you. See you later. Have a great week.